Hello everyone. Today I'm going to tell you about entrance doors, entry groups in a cottage, and custom entrance doors. What different styles they can come in, because I often get this question from clients and I have to explain it to everyone, sending various clips, photos, and so on. So I decided to make this video to clearly show that there is a standard door, aluminum, how it can be improved, what design options there are, various fillings, and all kinds of scud systems, handles, hidden ones, and so on. So make sure to watch until the end. It will be interesting. Let's start from the cheapest and go all the way to the most expensive. The top option is the first entrance door, a glass aluminum door, a regular door with a double glazed unit inside. This is actually the most standard one. You can't really add much to it. For example, you can install a fingerprint scanner or some kind of access control system that's available on the market, like a scanner and a key. We're installing a scanner. Instead of a fingerprint, there can be a code lock where you can enter a code. You can have a code lock along with a fingerprint scanner. There's also a system that recognizes me with Face ID. Recently, a client asked for a system that scans the vein pattern in the hand. I don't know how it works. To be honest, I haven't found anything like it. If anyone knows, please write to me in the comments. It will be interesting. The absolute cheapest option is something battery operated or an electromechanical latch. But all of this is single point. That is, it only locks in one place. This is a budget there, very, very small. We don't even consider it. We're talking about options when we have a large door, a cottage, and we want to make it warm and airtight, so we install a motor lock there. So it's a multi-point lock with 3 locking points that has a motor. And in this option, when the door locks in 3 places, it is as warm and high quality as possible. That's the option we're considering. So you just need to send some signal to this motor for it to open. And accordingly, the signal is given by either the card, the fingerprint, or Face ID. What it will be like isn't crucial. There are different options. For example, you can install something on the frame, or you can install something right on the wall next to the door and run the wires. Or for example, there are handles with a built-in scanner. They used to be on the market. I also supplied those handles, but now they have gone out of production and are no longer on the market. No, basically you can't buy them. I just made a handle myself. Maybe someday I'll get into selling these handles, so who's interested in stainless steel handles with a scanner? And it's totally doable, just like we do it. We developed a design for the handle, integrated a scanner into it, meaning we milled out a hole for it, and it gets glued in there. We also thought through how the wires will run and how the handle will be attached. And it can be either stainless steel or painted stainless steel. But we paint it in a matte black color. The scanner itself, whether it's a fingerprint scanner, can be either black or stainless steel. So we often had several clients who wanted a black handle. We accordingly bought the black scanner, developed a stainless steel 2-meter long handle, but it can be different lengths. And they built a scanner in there. Accordingly, they thought out all the wires and so on, how it works, and there are 2 options. For example, you approach this door, scan your fingerprint, the motor activates the locking mechanism, and the hooks extend, allowing you to enter. And on the inside, they usually install a push handle, so you don't have to press any buttons. There was no need to send a signal to this motor, so you always have a push handle on the inside. You just press and go out. And on the outside, there could be a stainless steel rod or some other type of handle, like a hidden handle. We'll get to that in a moment. So these are the options, and then we start working on this door. Change its design. We figured out the insides of the scooter, what options there are, motor locks, and so on. Next, we start with the design and make some simple, inexpensive improvements. For example, you can just take a standard aluminum door and stick a painted metal sheet on it. Then you can attach the handle to that, integrate everything nicely, and make it look good. This is a budget-friendly option. You can also stick other materials onto this door. Some thin porcelain stoneware or some kind of sheets. So we once glued some rusty cartoon of steel onto a door, so there's really no limit to creativity there. You can use some kind of wood. It all depends on what the client or architect wants. So these options are being discussed. It can be finished on the inside and outside, it doesn't matter. So you can cover it. You can take an aluminum panel and stick any materials onto it, and that way you can create it. This is an additional design. The next level, when we say that we don't want a handle sticking out, but rather a hidden handle, So there are no options with a hidden handle on Alutech anymore. These options are only available from Alumil or Schuco. This is a hidden handle built in, and it runs the full length of the door. It has backlighting LED that changes different colors. It's very convenient. You can even set it up so that the lock activates with a hand sensor. When you put your hand there, the lock goes off. Or you can also equip this door with a fingerprint scanner or Face ID. So it can be filled with all sorts of fillings, but the main point is that you get a hidden handle. This door can be a regular swing door, just a standard swing door with hinges on the side. Of course, the hinges can be roller or hidden. That's all clear. Usually they go for a hidden option for this door. There might be two design options. We stick an aluminum sheet onto it so the handle is on both sides of the handle. An aluminum sheet, it turns out to be a solid panel in Schuco. I showed such a door. Or we can make it glass. So this is painted glass that is also applied like this on the door, and the handle hidden with backlighting. It also looks beautiful. The glass is usually made black. You can basically make it any color, but you need to understand that it will be glossy. So the glass cannot be painted in a matte or some kind of moire finish. The glass will be glossy and shiny. And if there's a panel, if it's painted aluminum, then it will be matte. You can make it in a moire finish with a rough texture or just matte. But usually they go for a moire finish because it doesn't scratch as easily. And if you're going to wash it, it won't leave fingerprints. And it looks more noble. That's why the moire finish is accordingly cool. And there are also some points. You can make a structured door even without a hidden handle. So take Alutech, also a standard one. Some kind of cheaper system. And stick glass on it from the outside and put a handle, a stainless steel bar, or a push handle, depending on whether you need these SCUD systems. So if we're talking about needing fingerprint recognition, Face ID, and so on, then there can only be a bar handle, either hidden or like this stainless steel one or a black one. There can't be a push handle. Then the push handle can only be on the inside. If there's a push handle on both sides, then SCUD is not possible. So SCUD implies that there's a certain obstacle, meaning you approach, grab the handle, pull it, and it doesn't open until you perform the action of the scanner, like a fingerprint scan. Then a signal goes to the motor, and only then does the door open. Basically, whether it's with SCUD or without, with a push handle, any regular aluminum door. You can make it structured, meaning you can stick glass on top of it. How is this done? We have a leaf, and inside there's a double glazed unit. In the standard version, the double glazed unit is square, it gets inserted and secured with a bead, and we have a profile around the perimeter. In the options for a structured door, we make a double glazed unit where the outer glass is longer, with a so-called tooth. And accordingly, we stick it on as an overlay from the outside, like this, and the glass goes completely around the perimeter of the leaf. Strips of this glass are glued onto the frame, and that's how you get a structured door. There are, of course, nuances. Soft coating, not soft. If you have multifunctional sun protective ones, you'll need to play around a bit with those strips, but that's a topic for a separate video altogether. We explain all the options to the client when they order this structured door, roughly speaking. A structured door can not only be the door itself with a leaf, but also include some solid parts next to it. We often do this. Right now, we're also working on an entrance group like that, with structured execution on the sides. Two solid parts, transparent, and in the center, we have a structured door. And it's also transparent there. But when it's transparent, you need to understand that where your profile closes with glass, there are painted parts. So it turns out a structured door can come in two options. Structured transparent, conditionally transparent with black bonnet edges around the perimeter, or a structured completely opaque one. Then it's completely painted glass. And then you won't see any black parts around the perimeter. It's all black. I'll repeat, it can be on a Alutech with standard handles or with hidden handles, on a Lumile or on a Schuco. In short, there are a lot of options, and I hope I didn't confuse you. Let's move on. So if we're talking about the price, this is all based on Alutech with various metal and glass attachments. Next, it gets a bit more expensive. Lumil, Schuco, and there already SCUD also affects if a fingerprint is one thing, if accordingly it is there. Face ID is different. It all adds a bit along with the hidden hinges, hidden ones. All of this increases the price of the door, and it's very important to understand this configuration. Discussing all these nuances is important. So the next point. If we're talking about wanting a big door, a really big one, wide and tall, because these doors are 3 meters high at most. If we have more in width, let's say 30 meters, 40 meters, 50 meters, 62 meters, it doesn't matter, then we already go to the solution of the so-called pivot doors, or pivot, they can also be called. Here I would highlight that as optimal. Alumil pivot doors. I actually like them, but there are also Schuco, Johnson, and the others. Let me explain the difference right now. So aluminum pivot doors, they are quite airtight, warm, and suitable for the climate. There are 3 sealing contours. They are quite warm actually, because other similar pivot solutions are not. Even Schuco's doors are not that warm. I like aluminum pivot doors. The point is that the axis of rotation is offset, meaning it works like this. In a standard door, we have hinges on the side of the door, while in a pivot door, the axis of rotation is at the top and bottom. And it's kind of offset a little from the edge. So it turns out to be a kind of panel that rotates on these axes because of its rotation points, and it can withstand heavy loads, allowing for the creation of larger doors. Accordingly, pivot doors can be equipped just like standard handles. So these hidden handles, they are usually made in aluminum with this hidden handle that has backlighting. And also these doors can be either painted metal or painted glass. Unfortunately, these doors cannot be transparent in aluminum. Why? Because in aluminum the doors have some warm filling and they are covered with glass or metal on both sides. And then this door turns out to be warm, and if we use glass, it implies that there should be a sealed double glazed unit, right? 3 panes of glass. You can't do that with aluminum. It's specifically glass. It will be glued, yes, transparent, and it won't provide warmth, meaning it will freeze. It can be done, but in some southern regions, yes, because we would just end up with one big chamber between the panes of glass. And it's not as warm as we need it to be. So, here's one option. Or it will have an aluminum panel. Or it will have a painted black panel, like a glossy finish. The handle has backlighting, all that stuff. These pivot doors can also be equipped with a closer hidden to secure it so that it closes properly, and so on. There's also an option, but right now it's a bit more complicated with supplies. But I had this happen once. It was equipped not just with a closer, but with a system that's a bit more expensive. Well, not a little, it's okay. It's more expensive, but it allows, if it's a very large door, to make its movement easier. So this closer is adjusted, it's special, and it makes the movement of the door easier so that, for example, a small child could push it and it wouldn't require any effort from them. It actually moves easily as it is, but you can adjust it so that this closer helps it even more. I'm not talking about the regular closer. It's inexpensive, it's a special automation system for swing doors, and it's quite expensive. First of all, it helps to close the door, and secondly, it can block the door, because there can be very massive, bulky doors. So if you snap your finger or your hand, it can be quite painful, almost like breaking it. Accordingly, some clients ask for additional security, and we did it that way. We install this automation, we install the sensors. So if something gets pinched between the leaf and the frame, this automation stops the leaf. It doesn't let it. If you were to bump into it, it would stop it. This is additional security. There are motion sensors or some kind of photo elements. I don't remember exactly how it was all done, but it's all possible. And accordingly, this is the function of equipping this kind of automation. If we're talking about transparent solutions with a double glazed unit, I really want a pivot door, transparent with a double glazed unit. We've done that too, and we only did it with steel solutions. For example, I made doors that are 2 by 4 meters steel. So we have 50 millimeters there, with only a steel profile going around the perimeter, and a double glazed unit is inserted inside. It's true that a single chamber double glazed unit won't work for such sizes. The thickness in the system just isn't enough, and the weight becomes too huge. So, only with a single chamber double glazed unit can you equip it with such a profile around the perimeter. We made a special handle for it, a stainless steel one that runs the entire length of the leaf. You can't install a hidden one there anymore, obviously, because there's only the double glazed unit and a standard handle sticking out. You can install it on one side or you can install it on both sides. But you have to understand how, as I said earlier, you can install a stainless steel handle and some kind of a scotch system on the outside and a push button fitting on the inside of any door so that you can get out and go. And if you want it to be the same with a stainless steel handle outside and a stainless steel handle inside, that can be done too. But in that case, you'll need to install a button inside, so when you approach, You press the button, a signal goes to the motor, the lock activates, it opens for you and you can exit. You see? So that takes a little longer. It kind of holds you up a bit. So you constantly have to press the button and wait for those catches to come out and then open. So these are additional complexities. That is, these are pivot doors. It's already a high-level, top-notch solution. They are, of course, the most expensive among these options, but they allow you to close any opening and create a non-standard solution. By the way, there is another option. In aluminum, there is also one, for it to be made of wooden planks. So basically, any door, a pivot can be made in a custom design. And even if there is aluminum, maybe something won't solve this issue somehow from the point of view of design, limited possibilities. That is, I have the opportunity to bring these doors. Pivot. For example, in Turkey, there's a really cool supplier of such doors all over the world. They send them to Canada everywhere. They have just a ton of designs. They make wooden ones, some with slats and some with stones and so on. So it's just a splash of imagination. You can make such an exclusive door. This will only be yours and Michael Jackson's. And what I wanted to add regarding this motor lock, an important point. Clients often ask me, we're making an entrance group and there's a motor lock there, some kind of scooter, and they say, can I quickly disable it? For example, when I'm at home, I don't want to have to walk back and forth, constantly scanning my finger and just want to move around freely. This is achieved by installing a special lock and a special strike plate. Not many people know this, but I'm already implementing such solutions. It's a motor lock that has a special switch that prevents the top and bottom bolts from dropping out. So you approach, switch it, and the top and bottom bolts stop dropping out when you close the door. But we have a central bolt that always drops out. It can't be locked. In this case, a strike plate is installed on the frame. This day-night response is called there, the switch was switched accordingly. So you end up with the top bolts locked, they don't drop out, while the central one is specially unlocked by the strike plate. So in this case, you can just pull the door and move back and forth without having to scan anything. When you're leaving, or going somewhere, you don't need that function. You just approach. Quickly, you switch it, close it, and now it's just a door. It can only be opened if you perform certain actions with the lock, like scanning and so on. There are different systems, but maybe I'll add more. I just remembered we did it. The door recognizes the customer's phone. For example, you install this device and there's a special app on the phone. So as the person approaches, the door recognizes that it's the customer's phone and opens for them. You can also create an additional access key in this system. The customer can create an electronic access key for someone like a guest or a service technician who has come to visit. They can send a link to that person and then they can use it to open the door, because the system recognizes that this person has the access key on their phone. Remote control, for example, if the fingerprint scanner, then you can open the door only within the Bluetooth range. So you can't open it. If you've gone far away, you can't open that door remotely. You can set up fingerprints. There can be a lot of people, and you can set up fingerprints for up to 100 people. So you set up these fingerprints for all family members, and then only someone from them can enter if you're far away. You won't be able to open the door for someone remotely. Some third party, if you need a guest there, some came with a combination lock, you can tell the code for other things. Yes, if with this one on the phone there, you can also create a key remotely. There is also one at Schuco there. It's a solution with an electronic panel. You can approach and select the homeowner. Let's say it could be the wife or the husband, it doesn't matter. Someone comes to visit you like a friend and they don't have keys and you want to let them in. He approached. So you press the homeowner's button and you get a call on your phone. There's a camera there so you can see who's come. So you can even talk to them and then press a button on the app and the door will open for them. So that's one option and it's quite expensive. I try to tell you as many options as possible about what kinds of locks there are, but the most common one is definitely the fingerprint scanner. But many people think that it doesn't work well in winter, and there's also a code lock and Face ID. Access can be granted through a specific phone, like a tag, and cards can be used as well. And this access through an electronic screen when a call comes to the homeowner and they open. These are the kinds of solutions that Schuco has. You at least have some understanding now, and I hope this video was helpful. You can then have a better idea of which option you like, whether it's with me or with the manager. Maybe we can discuss the details with you, like I want this here and I want that there. These are already the nuances that get resolved during the process. We'll explain everything to you in more detail, like comment and ask questions. Maybe I should shoot something else. I will be happy to do that. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Goodbye, everyone.